Welcome back to Live Darts, everyone. Here he is, Hawaii 501, Wayne Mardle. Wayne, it's been a while since we've caught up. Alexandra Palace is on the horizon. We'll come to that shortly. However, looking back on the last 2 months, we're in a good place heading towards Ali Pali, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. There's stories, isn't there? There's Michael winning the Players' Championship that I've got to say, I watched it every single dart, and it was a great event. The Grand Slam, obviously, was a superb event with Gerwyn Price doing what people thought he wouldn't do. Even though he's a better player this year, I don't quite get it. Some were saying last year he was going to win it. Now he's a better player. They were saying he wasn't. Anyway, it's a mystery to me. Yes, darts is in a real good spot. I like the fact that, you know, when people are saying the world's best player won't win, he won't win. He's not that clear above anyone else. Okay, you can believe what you like, but Van Gerwen is.
Have we now got a genuine rivalry back as well?
I love the fact that Michael Van Gerwen himself, he kind of listed it as, do you know what, I like this man, talking about Gerwyn Price. He listed it as, I like him, I respect him, he's a good human being and he's a brilliant player. That for me is a rivalry where people dislike each other. That becomes like a hatred and becomes something more than a game of darts. I don't want more than a game of darts. I just don't. Do you remember when Barney and Phil used to go at it? That was a game of darts. Then it was Barney then it was Michael and Phil. That was a game of darts. And then it was kind of a bit of Gary Michael. That was a game of darts. I don't want this animosity between the players. I don't like it. I don't like the way that it's made out to be something that it isn't. I like it to be, do you know what? Enjoy each other's company when you're off the hockey. When you're on it, go for each other. Just go for each other and then respect each other off it. I love it. I think Gerwyn Price is offering so much to the world of darts right now.
Heading towards Alexandra Palace as well, question marks around certain players, Gary being one of them. If you're a Gary fan, are you worried heading towards the Palace?
I'm a Gary fan. Yes, I'm worried, yeah. When I watched him in the World Cup, now bearing in mind I tipped Scotland to win it.
On this channel?
Just saying, because I couldn't foresee Gary playing poorly for elongated periods. Well, I was wrong about that, because since June he's played poorly. He really has. And if he picks it up, he does well. If he doesn't, then I don't know. I don't know for Gary Anderson. Only he will know. I just want to see him back to somewhere near his best, because imagine Michael Van Gerwen, Gary Anderson, Gerwyn Price, all going at it, semi-final, final, week in, week out. Now that is rivalry. That is what top-class sport's about. It's effectively Murray, Djokovic, Federer, and cracking a bit of Nadal. I can't believe I forgot Nadal. I'm so sorry about that. But it's a bit of that, isn't it? I would hate to see Gary go out with a whimper. And Steve West is doing some kind of pathetic dance in the background. I would hate to see Gary pack up next year with a whimper. Phil Taylor retired on the back of winning the match play and losing in the final of the Worlds. I don't want to see Raymond go out with a whimper. I don't want to see these absolute darting superstars go out without a bang. I don't want to see Gary just fade away. I want to see him do something.
The other one as well is Rob Cross. The action doesn't look right at the moment. And again, if you're a Rob Cross fan, is there concerns at the moment?
I personally I'm concerned. I didn't like the way he won the match play, to be totally fair. The Europeans was similar to the match play, but I spoke to him during the Europeans and the match play were just so similar, where he didn't play well. But that is testament to his ability. That's how good he is. But you can't keep playing mediocre and getting away with it. And he hasn't got away with it since. If he plays well, he averages 170 in a final and wins. That's how good, that's how special the man is. But I'll tell you what, he's got some levels to go up. Again, we know what he can do. And again, see, I'm in a funny position. I want to see them all play well. I want to see them do stuff that, you know, when you're like, that's another level. You know, when Price produced that 108 in the final of the Grand Slam, you're thinking, you've gone up levels here. Not only have you beat Van Gerwen in the game before, you've now gone up levels. I want to see that on all these players. But I just feel with Price that he's releasing the dart too late, and he knows about it. I've told you, Rob. I've told you. Now, listen. And it does frustrate me because I do know what they're doing wrong, and some of them don't listen, and they should for nothing, £200 an hour. Anyway, I really do think that Rob Cross is the next winner. Him and Michael Smith. Apart from the others, I think they're the next winners because they're special players.
Looking at this year's World Championship, Alexandra Palace on top of the hill at Muswell Hill. It's now an iconic sporting venue, isn't it?
It is. Look, let's be fair. It's grown into a venue that is now Ali Pali. You don't have to mention the Worlds. You didn't have to mention the Worlds at the Circus Tavern. You didn't have to mention the Worlds at the Lakeside. That's how you want an event to progress. And it's progressed, and it really has. I personally still find it a bit vacuous. I do. I still think the atmosphere in the Alexandra Palace, in the Circus Tavern, and maybe even the Lakeside was better, but it's getting there. Give me a couple. Look, I'm old school. I can't just change my thought process, but it really is now Ali Pali. You don't have to say Alexandra Palace. You don't have to say the World Championships. Ali Pali says it all. A bit like Jockey, a bit like Eric, a bit like Lowy. You know exactly what I mean. It's self-explanatory.
Can you still remember the first time that you went there, drove up the hill and went into this humongous arena?
I absolutely can, which is peculiar. This is not pre kind of subscribed, or we're not. Yeah, we're freestyling. I really do, and I'm thinking this just looks too big to be a darts venue. That's the way I thought. Bearing in mind, I played in the Echo Arena playing Premier League. I did a lot of big arenas, but this just looked just too big. And as I'm playing, yeah, it's fine. This is good. This is becoming more of a venue the more I'm playing within it. I didn't enjoy it for the first couple of years, mind. It wasn't until I got annihilated by Gian Artut that I come off and thought, do you know what? This is the best atmosphere I've ever kind of taken on board or ever experienced within the World Championships. But look, it's good. The players now, they've never experienced anything else, so they've got no negatives about the place. And if it grows and becomes the venue for the next 15, 20 years, then superb. It can't change. If it changes, it loses that edge for the next 10. That's not good.
This year's tournament, Michael Van Gerwen, the hot favourite and rightfully so, being the best in the world. Gezi, the clear second favourite. For the first time in a while, we have got a clear front two. Do you think that will be the final on New Year's Day, or do you think there's a twist and a turn?
Well, I've actually kind of stated the fact that I do believe Van Gerwen comes from the top. I think it's either Chizzy or Price from the bottom. The last kind of 1-2 we had was Anderson. That hasn't been for the last kind of 2 years. But it was always Phil and someone. Now it's Michael and someone. They've got to perform. They have got to perform. And I'm not including Michael in this, because Michael will perform. This is kind of the difference now. Phil never really let anyone down. For 14 years, he was in a final until some absolute clown beat him before the final, some buffoon, some muppet, if you like. Michael's getting to that point where you expect him to win. And I kind of do expect him to reach the final. Who he plays in that final, I've got no idea. But Price is playing the darts that no one else is playing apart from Van Gerwen.
Barney's fairy tale swan song. Will it be a fairy tale or will it turn into a nightmare? Because it's Jekyll and Hyde at the moment, isn't it?
Right, I'm a Raymond van Barneveld fan. He knows this. I love the man. I love what he's done for the game. He grew it in Europe. Without Raymond van Barneveld, I don't believe darts is what it is today. He had the guts and the bottle and the determination, the composure, you name it, to come across from being the four-time world champion, the BDO, to thinking, I need to beat Phil Taylor to prove I'm the best. Not only did he beat Phil Taylor, he beat him in a world final. Oh, come on, Michael. I'm trying to do a serious kind of interview here. Come on now. Well, an interview. And when he come across, you're thinking, you fancy your chances. You think you're that good, and he is that good. Again, I don't want to see him go out of a whimper. If he goes out with it, Michael, come on now. Michael, come on, please. I've got to play Michael van Gerwen in literally 5 minutes. My preparation is talking to you guys. His preparation is practicing. There's the difference. Look, I'm a great believer in Barney, like the others, shouldn't go out with a little bit of a noise. He should beat on that drum. If he does go out early in the Worlds, then so be it. But it won't be fitting for such a man that's put so much into the sport.
Now we're off the Worlds. I know you've moaned at me for talking about this too early. However, I'm going in. The Premier League 2020. Right, first of all, the format. Where do you think we're going with it? Are we going back to a straight 10, or are we going something under that before I ask you for some names?
Right, me personally, and this is so not scripted. I really don't know. I don't know what I want. Last year, or this year, because we're in November, nearly December. This year it worked, but would Hendo work in Aberdeen as well again? I'm not sure. Would others work? Look, me personally, I would go top 10 in the world. That's what I would do. Because I just think, one, it's fair, and two, you're getting the 10 best players in the world. And I'm not sure the contenders would work again as well. Do you know what? I really, really don't know. And I so wish you hadn't have asked me, because I've got something prepared. Right now, I'm going to say contenders no. Going to say contenders no, and I'm going to say the top 10 in the world. That way it's fair.
Interesting point. My counter argument to that, or not counter argument, but some would say,
let's debate.
Some
people can't debate.
But we can. We've got this covered.
We can.
One in particular, has James Wade played his way out of contention? And I say James because everyone else in the top 10 has either won something or gotten to a final where on the floor James has played some very good stuff, but on the TV, his TV form isn't there. Let's be frank about that. The results are there in black and white. Has he almost played his way out and let someone, I'm going to say Glenn Durrant, for instance, who's made 3 TV semi-finals, potentially in the door?
Yes. And Mensur Suljovic. They've not played themselves in it, have they? Chizzy's played himself in it. Nathan Aspinall has played himself in it. Like you said about Glenn Durrant, yes, he's played himself in the Premier League. There are those that have played themselves out of it. That the more you're seen, the more you're kind of judged. At one point, Ian White went from, you've got to put him in to, are you kidding me? To now, I think he deserves a chance. Whose place he takes, I couldn't care less. Look, I commentate on it. The 10 that are put up before me, I'll commentate fairly on them all. So I really don't care who's in it. But what I do want in it are the ones that are playing well at the moment. And this is where Barry Hunt goes on about meritocracy. He goes on about, we've got the Pro Tour rankings because it's those playing well over the last year. Well, okay, why not pick the Premier League on that? Why not? The end of the Premier League, right? The end of the Premier League to the start or to the end of the Worlds. to the end of the Worlds. Right, so you've got 7 months, roughly. They make certain events, I don't care what they are, but don't make them Pro Tour events, that's pathetic. Because Van Gerwen, Anderson and loads won't turn up. Yeah, don't make it that. That's just making the game a nonsense. What you end up doing, you're making them majors. Just say, right, it's the UK Open, even though that's in between. So it's an oxymoron, but I want to put it right. So it's a UK Open, it's the match play, it's the Grand Prix, it's the Grand Slam, it's the Players' Championships. Right, you've got 5 events there. And don't count the Premier League because it's not okay. All right, it's not a ranking event. So you got the top 10 money earners in those 5 events are the Premier League picks. No qualms, qualify. Do you know what else that gets doing? That gets the likes of Anderson going to European events. That gets people playing events that they don't necessarily want to play. I've fixed the lot. Yeah, get it? Yeah.
I like that idea. And that was on my list to talk to you about because it's very much done in golf that way, the way you qualify for the Ryder Cup and stuff like that. There's a ranking table for that. So I like that idea personally. And like you say, then it gives players, everyone an opportunity because, let's be brutally honest, if you're not anywhere near the top 12 in the world, you don't really stand a chance of playing in the Premier League.
Look, compete in majors, do well in majors, don't do well in Pro Tours, don't do well in European events. And I know the European events are seen in such a high esteem this time, and at this stage, I don't get it. I just don't get it. They are Pro Tours that are played on a stage. Look, the majors are where you want to see people perform. Pick the best players from the majors, give them the points, the ranking money, whatever it is, and then say these 10 or this 10 produced over the criteria, they are the Premier League. No qualms, no arguments, just put them in. I'll tell you what, I didn't realise it was so simple.
Right, looking at the 10 then, I reckon we can agree.
I can't think of the 10.
I reckon we can agree on 9. Michael Van Gerwen. Gerwen Price. Van Gerwen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Gerwen Price.
Yeah.
Michael Smith.
Yeah.
Rob Cross.
Yeah.
Daryl Gurney.
Yeah.
Then we'll go Gary Anderson.
I agree.
Peter Wright.
I agree.
Nathan Aspinall.
I agree.
Dave Chisnall.
I agree.
Then it's that one, in my opinion. I think there's one spot up. If there's 10, if they pick 10, I think there's one spot open. And I
agree with you.
And I'm going to hand the microphone to you now. Who, as we speak right now, do you personally give that 10th spot to?
Tell me that 10th spot shouldn't go to Glenn Durrant.
I don't disagree.
A lot of people think it's Ian White. Last year it was Ian Simon Whitlock should have got the 10th spot. I couldn't care less about last year. It's Ian White or Glenn Durrant for me. Whoever they pick is who they pick. I've got no say. But I do believe we need a criteria now because it's got beyond what I think is beyond a debating point, beyond a bit of a joke. We need a criteria.
I like that little debate we've had on the Premier League. That was good. It felt good.
I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would because I hate talking about the Premier League before the Worlds because it's only about the Worlds. That's all that matters.
Going to get your brain on all darting matters. I know you're a huge dart fan away from the PDC as well. The BDO, we got the leaked ticket information.
Yeah.
Only 9% of tickets sold across the whole tournament. Is that a concern right now as a darts fan?
Yeah, I fear for the BDO. I come through the system. I would say this is a wild guess that 95% of the BDO of the PDC did come through the BDO. If it folds, then I don't know where the amateurs come from to then start to play in the PDC system. And if the PDC think that they've got the Challenge Tour and the Development Tour in place, that takes place of the BDO. No, not at all. It doesn't work that way. There are tens of thousands that play within the BDO system, that play on stage, that play in big games in county. They're not going to pay hundreds to go away and play for a weekend, and they may not get any enjoyment or money out of it. Not that they do in the county system anyway, but they're with friends there. They go away and they sit on a table on their own. They're not enjoying it. Like anything you do, you need to enjoy it. If the BDO folds, it will be a sad, sad day. It's already a sad day that Ollie Croft died. That was horrendous. That was horrendous for those that have actually met the man. And look, let me tell you this. Without Ollie Croft, the world of darts, I wouldn't be here now. You wouldn't be here now. This wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, no, I agree.
This wouldn't be happening.
Really
I couldn't care less about the PDC, the BDO. It's all about Ollie Croft. This is what happened because of him. Yes, others have grown it and others have taken on what he actually felt and the hard work he did. But someone gets hold of a ball and runs with it, right? He ran a long way with it. He ran a long way, and I won't hear a bad word said about him.
No, quite right, and I agree that was on my list of stuff to talk to you about as well. And I remember when the news broke, it was just like, it was gut wrenching. It was just because we were actually at the Grand Minehead when it happened, and it was just like, wow, just gobs when we were all just deathly quiet in the press room when it came out.
Yeah, it's not pleasant that someone that had such a mind to grow the game of darts. He was effectively a Barry Hearn 30, 40 years before there was a Barry Hearn. He saw it. Barry grabbed hold of it and run with it. But he picked up that ball first. And to knock him, if anyone does, then just think about that.
Last one on the BDO, the Masters. I know we spoke when it was all going on. I'm not quite sure how to put this, because the longest serving tournament in the calendar was made a complete mockery of in the space of a few days.
Yeah, you're on about the BDO World Masters. Yeah, not the Masters that's on ITV. This the PDC thing. I fear for the BDO in general, and like we've said, if it does fold, then it will be horrible. For the world of darts, it'll be terrible. But they made such a hash, and when I say they, I'm not going to put it down to one human being, because that would be unfair, because I don't know all the facts. But I just don't like the way that it's been handled since Ollie Croft has kind of given up the reins. Since then, it's gone downhill, and it's been a real shame. But the nows are being they're being slowly, yeah. There is that tap going on, and I don't like it. I've got a real affiliation to the BDO, and I think a lot of people of my age have, and it probably would be an age thing as well. But I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it happen.
Let's go back to good news. Some good news broke in the PDC. Darts, we are going to the city that doesn't sleep. New York has been added to the World Series. We're going to MSG. Did you ever contemplate you'd ever hear darts at Madison Square Garden?
Well, do you know what? When, bearing in mind, I reached 2 Desert Classic finals. Even back then, 2003, 4, 5, whenever they were, I kept saying, why don't we go to the most populated city in America? Now, I didn't even know where that was, because I'm pretty dim, I'm pretty dense. Well, you go there. You don't go somewhere where, okay, look, it's fantastic in Vegas, we know that, and Las Vegas sounds extravagant, but New York does as well. Well, eventually, they've seen the light. The PDC have seen the light. They're going to go there. They're going to go to Madison Square Garden. They're going to put on a hell of a show. I hope it catches on. There's a Minuteman League there that's been going on for absolute, and I say decades. It's been going on since like the 40s, as far as I know. It's the most subscribed league to in the absolute world. Why wouldn't you have gone there back in the 80s? Grow the game where people want to play. We have a winner.
Wayne, it's an absolute pleasure. I love doing these sporadic chats with you, because we've just put the whole darting world to rights, as we always do.
That's what it's all about.
I can't wait, and we will see you bright and early on the 13th of December for the World Championship.
You may see me early, you will not see me bright. Great chatting, Phil. Thanks, guys. Thank you.